I am dead serious. I am praying right now. But by the way, I'm not even sure the Cashman knows it's a trade deadline since he hasn't done anything. But if Brian Cashman gets the memo and realizes that it actually is the trade deadline today, I hope he actually sells. The Yankees suck. The Yankees are absolutely going nowhere. And I got to tell you, Sal, the more I think about this, if we might have our first blow up today. If you start hitting me with this nonsense about buy, get a third wild card, try, I'm walking out of the studio. I don't want to hear it. The Yankees are nowhere near a World Series. The Yankees are miles from relevance. They looked like a double-A team out again last night against a team that's good, the Rays, just like they did prior to that against the Baltimore Orioles. Their farm system's broken. Everybody stinks except Aaron Judge. Please, I'm begging you, for this relationship, our partnership, please tell me that you're not going to start throwing out that nonsense about buying and this pipe dream about the Yankees doing something this year. Please tell me we're not doing that to start the show.
You know, BT, I watched the game last night. Obviously, another embarrassing performance from the Yankees. But I hope you have your walking papers ready because the Yankees need to buy. I'm not letting last night. And again, even last night, I hate to do this, keep throwing out certain games. You know, I throw out the Sunday night game because Severino was awful. I throw out last night's game because they had to go with Brito for whatever reason with Domingo Román, as you mentioned.
But they didn't have to. They elected to, which we'll get to.
Okay,
but keep going.
Big picture.
Yeah.
The Yankees are still 3.5 games back of a wild card spot. The goal is to get in the playoffs.
Wow.
They are right there. And as I've said many times, BT, I don't know what it's going to take for you to understand where I'm coming from here. They have the pitching lined up. Cole, Rodon, bullpen help. Judge is just coming back now. You've seen what kind of beast he can be. He's on base all the time because nobody wants to pitch to him anymore. If they add a piece or two here, the right pieces, everything is still there in front of them. I'm going for it. I'm not giving up.
Listen, this is utterly delusional at this point. I understand that I'll stretch things out and I'll be optimistic and I'll give a team a chance to find itself. The Yankees, I mean, the only roadmap in front of them is to the end of the offseason. Like the game 162, that's where it ends. I don't care what they do. Like, so what are you going to
get? August 1st.
It doesn't matter. And usually,
they got 2 months of the season left.
Doesn't matter. Listen. I have not been this down on the New York Yankees really since. And I said this yet since the end of the Stump Merrill era. At least the difference was you had a couple of kids coming up. You know, Birdie was in the system at that point, and you know even Kevin Moss, who didn't work out, flashed and hit like 25 bombs in 1990. Kevin Moss, how about that one? But the Yankees, the big league roster blows. Nobody believes in the GM. Nobody believes in the manager. Nobody's feeling the owner. And by the way, Sal, they're a 500 team the last 200 games, and that was with Aaron Judge basically being a superhero last year. They batted .182 with a 600 OPS last year against the Guardians. And by the way, they batted .162 with a 500 OPS against the Astros. I understand. I almost on some level, some weird level, I appreciate your optimism, but it's expired. No one wants to hear it. Nobody's buying it. The Yankees are done. Sell.
But it's not even optimism. It's realism, BT. You look at it, it's realism here. The Yankees are still, you say they suck, Yankee fans think I'm nuts. They're still over 500. They're still 3.5 games back, which is nothing. You can make that up in a week. There are 2 months left in the season. Don't you want to see your team go to the postseason and have a chance? Who's better in the American League than Cole and Rodon 1-2 punch?
Okay, well, to me, the better question is, who are the Yankees better than that actually are in the mix? Like, they're not, you know, the other day you kind of marginalized Toronto. Toronto's not going away. Toronto's pretty good.
Bo Bichette just got hurt.
I understand that. I got that.
That could change that. That even opens things up even more.
They're in last place in the division,
but they're only in last place in the division because they're a product of how good their division is. They have been without, right now, where you look at this Yankee team and the way that we've seen it for the last couple of weeks, I agree. They've been a bad team. You can't argue that. Nobody's hitting. Nobody's doing anything. Judge has been out. Rodon wasn't good when he was out. Then he comes back and he wasn't very good. But in a week from now, if they add the right moves today, add the right pieces today, make the right moves, they will look different. They're still, they're in last place. They're still over 500. They're just starting to get guys back here. And if they get in, they can still do damage with Cole and Rodon. There's not optimism. I'm being realistic here with this team.
Wow. You know, the sad thing is that, not even this, I wish that you were right. Now, yes, there are more games to play. and the Yankees
2 months,
didn't get mathematically eliminated last night. But I mean, the eye test, and it's been like this for a while. This ain't it. 877-337-6666. Good morning, everybody. Brandon Tierney, Sal Licata, BT and Sal. I mean, if I was a little more musically inclined, I know you busted out the Yankees song.
Yeah. They are the Yankees.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
If I was so musically inclined, I would bust out the trumpet or the bugle and start playing taps. I mean, it's over. Get the coffin. Stick them in it.
But it's
they're
not.
Dead.
It's not over.
They're dead.
They're
Dead.
making the Yankees are making a big mistake here if they don't go all in. You've come this far. What's the worst that could happen? They make a trade or two and don't make the postseason. Okay, fine. You're that close. What would you be saying if it were the Mets or a different team? You know, the Yankee fans, you're spoiled, BT. You don't think the Yankees have everything. Met fans would kill to have a team that's over 500.
Okay, now this is the spoiled one. I saw your tweet last night.
I saw yours.
You tweeted at me, spoiled Yankees fan. Okay. Now, this can't not sound personal. It's going to sound personal. But it is what it is, all right? The overall loser mentality of Met fans, when they talk about the Yankees, it seeps in. Because what you guys don't do is you don't delineate between the 27 championships, which is the big picture, and the micro version, which is the now. We get it. We've won a lot.
Right.
A lot of those championships came before we were born.
Right. They mean nothing to me.
They don't really mean that much to me.
But
Except when I go to the stadium, I see a little pennant hanging from the side of the stadium.
But we're talking
Didn't see them.
We're talking about getting into the
Fantastic.
playoffs.
Getting in there and getting. Here's the thing.
Okay, so why is it different for the Cubs who go on an 8-game winning streak and they want to get in the playoffs and now all of a sudden have turned from sellers to buyers to get in? Because you're the mighty Yankees and just making the playoffs is above you?
No, because I think that the Yankees are more broken than the Cubs. Listen, I've come to this, Sal. Oh, geez. I can promise you, of all the things that I've ever said into a microphone, I have never said this. Never, ever. I want the Yankees to lose. I want the Yankees to implode, and I want this to be painful, and I don't want a little cut. I want them to hemorrhage, hemorrhage. I want them to bleed out the rest of the season because, in my opinion, that's the only thing that's going to shake up the owner who is in a coma. I mean, to me, if the Yankees win 88 games and they get the third wild card and they win a game or they lose, it doesn't even matter if they get swept. That will justify bringing back the manager who's got to go and the GM who's got to go. So I don't want the wild card. I want pain.
Yeah,
I'm begging for pain.
I think Yankee fans want significant change, and maybe the only way that happens is with that pain, BT. It's foolish. You look at the landscape of the American League. This is a team. Oh, the Yankees, you gave me the record last year. Even with Judge going on a historic pace, they're a 500 team. They were in the ALCS. There is only one more level to go, and that is the World Series. And that wasn't good enough for Yankee fans. So now with a team that realistically, with 2 months of a season to go, with the opportunity until 6 o'clock today to add to this ball club, with getting Judge back, with Rodon pitching well his last time out, paired with Garrett Cole, with the already good bullpen, with a weak American League, you don't want the Yankees to make the postseason?
No, I want them to sell, and I want them to get obliterated.
That's crazy to me. Look, I'm watching this team. I see it. They have been dreadful. I understand that. They will look different. I've seen too much. You guys are telling me the Yankees stink. I'm looking at a team that's 3.5 games back, 4 games over 500. I don't want to hear last place. The division doesn't matter. It's about the wild card right now. Get in. And when you get in with Cole and Rodon, you have as good a chance as anybody. Yankees better put the pedal to the floor and go for it.
I mean, okay, before we get to these calls here, not for nothing, can we stop touting Rodon? Can we give Rodon another start? I mean, you throw him in there like it's Andy Pettitte.
Oh, he's got to be good. I mean,
he's had one good start.
He was good his last time out.
He's pitched 4 times. He's been good once.
I mean, you said he was going to get racked.
I thought he was going to get rocked. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
He goes out there and dominates the Mets, of course, of all teams.
It's the Mets.
Rodon he's had a good history if he could stay healthy. And you're right.
I can't stand this team.
It's an if. I understand it.
I really can't, Sal. I can't. That's a breaking point when I stop. Not only have I stopped rooting for them, I am now rooting against them. This is what the Yankees.
I don't understand as a fan.
I understand how you don't. I get that. But
why? Because I'm a loser, Met fan?
No. Well, nah. This is where the Yankee fan is what the Yankees have done to their fan base. We are now, maybe I'm just alone, and we'll get these calls, and I'll find out maybe I'm the lone wolf nut job today. We now want them to lose because that is the only thing in the minds of many that will actually facilitate change, that will get them on a realistic path, not some pipe dream of stealing the stupid third wild card and praying you scratch out 3 runs to win a series. Ain't good enough. 877-337-6666. All right. Jimmy's in Fairfield, Connecticut. First up on the Fan, BT and Sal. What's going on, Jimmy?
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
What's up, Jim?
Yes, Jim.
All right. Just want to make sure you can hear me. I'm with BT on this issue. I'm a Mets fan, so I'll disclose that.
Okay.
Rodon, yes, he did pitch well his last start, but the Mets can't hit lefties and haven't hit lefties all year. Toronto, Houston, and who's the other one?
The Rays. The Rays.
And Baltimore or the Rays.
And the Rays.
Will all finish ahead of the Yankees.
Yes!
And let's look at it this way. If you want to compare Cubs and what they're doing and Yankees and what they're doing, Cubs can hit.
Yes.
The Cubs have a decent
The
offense.
comparison was going to take a run at a
Right.
postseason spot. Basically,
Right. No, I
you're
understand
saying,
that.
you and BT are both saying that a playoff spot, while it's right there in front of you, you're spitting at it.
Yep.
You're saying that playoff spot is not worth it for me, even though you have Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, a 1-2 punch that would match up with anybody and be better than anybody in the American League. You're saying you're spitting at the postseason opportunity and saying you want to sell and give up on the
Yes.
season. For what?
I wouldn't say that I would spit on the postseason. That might be a little extreme, but I think I'll make a little side bet with anybody who wants to. Mets finished with a better record than the Yankees.
But nobody cares
Yeah,
about
who
the
cares
Mets right
about that?
now.
Whatever.
We're not talking about the Mets.
Both teams pretty much are irrelevant.
We're not talking about the Mets right now. We're talking about the Yankees and an opportunity to go to the postseason. They need to upgrade this team if they want that to be realistic. They have an opportunity today at 6 o'clock with Cole, with Rodon, with a team, BT, that was built to go win a World Series. It's still there in front of them. As unlikely as it may seem right now at this very minute, it's still a possibility.
Okay, now I got to examine something. So you just said a team that's built to win the World Series. Now, that sounds good, but it's not even remotely accurate because to be built to win a World Series, you've got to have a leadoff hitter. You've got to have some power hitting outfielders besides one. You've got to have a third baseman. You got to have how are they built to win a World Series? Well, that sounds cute. How are they built to win a World Series?
Cole, Rodon, the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. They have the best or one of the best players in Major League Baseball in Aaron Judge. They have a center fielder in Harrison Bader. They have a young shortstop. I mean, look, they trade Bader, it's over. I mean, they trade Harrison
It's
Bader.
already over. That's why you got to make the concession, trade him.
If the Yankees give up on the opportunity to make a postseason, then they're even more clueless than I thought.
And
as
I
an
would be so
organization.
proud. But that's how different we see this. You say they're clueless. I would say
And
they're
then what?
finally finding their footing.
And then what next year? How
And
are they
you
getting any better?
reboot. And you
This may-
fire everybody and you start over.
They're not going to fire everybody. And this may be as close as they get to the postseason for the next 5 years. It's not the Yankees fans' birthright to be in the postseason. You're 3.5 games back of a wild card spot. Any team in baseball would be going for it. But yet the high and mighty Yankees spit at it. They're going to be sellers when the playoffs are right there for them. I mean, come on, that's an embarrassment. Name me a team that would be 3 games back with 2 months to go that's going to sell.
Okay, but I don't measure the Yankees against other teams. I measure the Yankees against how they used to do business, how they used to operate. That's not meant to sound like, arrogant or whatever. That's just the reality of it. It's a losing trio. The owner's a loser in terms of how he operates. The GM's a loser, and now Brian Cash and now Aaron Boone is speaking like a loser when he exonerates the entire team for striking out 18 times on national TV Sunday night. And by the way, if you would think that there was some great market correction the next night, they struck out 12 times last night.
All right, but what would the old Yankees do? Because I agree with you to that aspect. I'm more annoyed that the Yankees are acting like a team that's not the Yankees, where they're worried about resting players.
Yeah, well, that's
they're
true.
worried about guys. Yeah, we're giving guys rest, and they're worried about the luxury tax.
Yeah.
So what would George do? Everybody wants to talk about George and the old Yankees.
Fired.
What do you think he would do right now? You
Fired.
think George would sell?
No,
Oh,
but
no chance.
No, I agree, but I don't think George would be in a position to have to sell because he would have taken a swing on some of these big free agents rather than sitting off to the sideline like a B-minus team like Hal's done.
So what do you think putting the pedal to the metal would be here? They need to
It's too late.
suck
Too
it
late.
up.
Too late. No,
not.
it's too late, Sal. It's too late.
months.
It's too late. No, I mean, it's too late. It's too deep into this version of the Yankees. Stanton, LeMahieu,
Rizzo.
Donaldson's taking ground balls. Like I give a rat's ass that Josh Donaldson is seen on the field taking ground. Oh, here comes Josh. Here comes the savior. Let's go. Dude, just put the uniform and just leave it in the locker and keep it moving. Just leave. He's taking ground balls. Like that's supposed to get us excited? I mean,
No.
Anthony Rizzo's hit 160 since May 29th.
He did hit a laser last night off the wall. That it was just a little bit higher.
Sense the,
Look, BT, here's the thing.
tone.
I can't, fundamentally, I don't agree with the premise of giving up on a season where a playoff spot is right
That's
there
fine.
in front of
Okay,
you,
I
especially
gotcha.
with the pieces that they have.
I
If they start
gotcha.
team without an ace, without Rodon there, they have as good a 1-2 punch in baseball.
I'm gonna give you a real life example, okay? Because by the way, as much as we completely disagree, I understand when
Right.
you say that. Like you can't see it. I'm gonna spell it out differently for you. Imagine that you've got a massive problem with your wife or your girlfriend or your lover or whatever, right? And you address it, but you never really get to the root of it, and it kind of goes away for 2 weeks, and then it manifests itself again, and then it goes away, comes back. The only way, maybe, and not even guaranteed, the only way that gets rectified is if you address it probably with somebody in the medical field, meaning a marriage counselor, and you really attack it, okay? And to me, the marriage counselor here for the Yankees is to miss the playoffs because it forces them. And if it doesn't force them, then we are without hope, and then they will never be the Yankees again as long as Hal owns them. Missing the playoffs and winning 79. I hope they win 75 games. Winning not 81 or 82. Win 73. Make it. I want hurt. I want blood. I want pain. I want desperation. I want embarrassment. I want Hal to have no other recourse but to look at Cashman and say, despite the 4-year extension, get out. I've given you enough time. The farm system stinks. The roster stinks at the major league level. You're gone. And Boone, you now talk like a loser. It's not working. You're gone as well. That's it.
You sound to me like I did when I hated the Yankees in the 90s. Like that's the method mentality. You want pain on the team that you grew up rooting for. Where they're right there. They get in the postseason. They can still win the World Series and shut everybody up. It is possible. Until it's not, it is possible. BT, I know it doesn't seem likely right now.
Likely. It seems like it's impossible.
It will
And by
look
the way,
different
keep
in a
telling
week.
me how great Garrett Cole is, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He pitched a gem the other night. They didn't score a run for him.
All right, well, it happens. I mean, it happens, unfortunately, yeah.
877.
They could have easily won that game and then won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. The best team in the division. Everybody's making it like the Yankees they're not the Royals. They're not the A's.
Oh, I know that they're not.
Well,
I know that they're
but
not
people
that.
keep saying last place this, last place that. The last place doesn't mean anything. 3.5 games back with 2 months to go. That's what means something with some pieces in place.
Somebody please help me with this guy today. He's just not understand what I'm saying. And
I understand what you're saying.
I don't know that
I
you
just
do.
don't agree with it.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
877-337-6666.